In the warm, sunny grasslands of Mexico, there lived a speedy little roadrunner named Rico. Rico loved to run as fast as the wind, darting through tall grasses and hopping over cactus plants. He was full of energy and curiosity, always wanting to explore new places and try new things. But sometimes, Rico was in such a hurry that he forgot to listen to the wise advice of his elders. One bright morning, Rico's abuela Rosa, the oldest and wisest roadrunner in the family, called him over. "Rico," she said, "if you are going out to explore today, remember to stay close to the paths you know. There are places in the grasslands that can be tricky and dangerous." Rico nodded quickly. "Yes, abuela," he said. But in his head, he was already thinking about all the places he wanted to run and all the things he wanted to see. As soon as abuela Rosa turned back to her nest, Rico zipped off like a blur. He followed the paths he knew for a while, but soon he spotted something shiny in the distance. "Ooh, I wonder what that is," Rico said. Without thinking, he ran toward it, leaving the safe path behind. The grass got thicker and prickly plants poked at his legs. Soon, he found himself tangled in a patch of sticky burrs. He tried to wiggle free, but the more he moved, the more stuck he became. "Oh no," Rico said. "I should have listened to abuela." Just then, he heard a familiar voice. "Rico!" It was abuela Rosa, followed by his tia Elena. They had noticed he was missing and came looking for him. Abuela Rosa gently pulled the burrs away, while tia Elena helped free his legs. "We told you to stay on the path," abuela said, brushing him off. "I know," Rico said, feeling sorry. "I didn't listen, and I got into trouble." Abuela Rosa smiled kindly. "It's okay, Rico. Sometimes we learn by making mistakes, but listening to your elders can help you stay safe." From that day on, Rico always remembered to listen to the advice of his family. He still loved to run fast and explore, but he stayed close to the paths he knew or brought an elder along when he wanted to go farther. And every evening, he sat beside Abuela Rosa and listened to her stories about the grasslands. He realized there was so much to learn from those who had lived there the longest. The end. The sun rose bright and golden over the Mexican grasslands. Rico the Roadrunner stretched his wings and gave a little hop. Today was a special day. The animals were having their annual spring parade. Everyone was gathering near the big cactus in the middle of the grassland to get ready. Rico was excited. He had been practicing his fastest running and fanciest hopping for weeks. As he zipped toward the parade, he passed his abuela Rosa resting under a shady tree. "Slow down, Rico," she called gently. "And remember, manners matter today." Rico skidded to a stop and nodded. "Yes, abuela. I'll remember to be polite." When he arrived at the big cactus, all the animals were busy getting ready. Tia Elena was lining up the baby quail, and Don Pedro, the wise old tortoise, was giving instructions about where everyone should stand. Rico bounced up and down, waiting his turn. He wanted to rush to the front, but then he remembered Abuela Rosa's words, "Manners matter." He took a deep breath, walked up to Don Pedro, and said, "Good morning, Don Pedro. May I please have my spot in the parade line?" Don Pedro smiled warmly. "Ah, very good manners, Rico. You may stand right here between the iguanas and the armadillos." "Thank you very much," Rico said, standing tall and proud. Soon the parade began, and everyone marched, waddled, and ran in a long line across the grasslands. As they passed by the older animals sitting in the shade, Rico made sure to slow down and give a polite nod. "Good afternoon, Señora Coyote," he said kindly. "I hope you're enjoying the parade." "Oh, what a respectful young roadrunner," Señora Coyote said with a toothy grin. After the parade, the animals gathered for a feast of seeds, berries, and sweet cactus fruits. Rico saw Abuela Rosa waiting patiently by a basket of prickly pears. Rico hurried over and said, "Abuela, may I please bring you a plate of fruit?" "Yes, thank you, Rico. That is very kind of you." He carefully picked out the juiciest fruit and brought it to her on a shiny leaf. "Here you go, Abuela. I hope you enjoy it." Sitting together, Abuela Rosa patted Rico gently on the head. "I'm very proud of you. You showed respect, used good manners, and listened to your elders." Rico felt warm inside. He had learned that speaking kindly and showing respect made everyone feel happy, including himself. And from that day on, Rico was known not only for his speed, but also for his polite and respectful heart. The end. In the sunny grasslands of Mexico, Rico the Roadrunner was always on the move. He zipped between the cacti, hopped over rocks, and dashed through tall grasses faster than anyone else. There was one thing Rico had been practicing, but that he hadn't quite mastered yet: listening respectfully to his elders. One bright morning, Abuela Rosa called him over as he raced by her shady tree. "Rico," she said gently, "before you go running today, I need you to help Tia Elena gather berries for our dinner." Rico slid to a stop and let out a big sigh. "But Abuela," he whined, dragging his feet, "I helped yesterday. Why do I have to do it again?" Abuela Rosa gave him a patient look. "Because we all take turns helping. It's your turn today." "But I don't want to," Rico argued, flapping his wings. "I'm the fastest runner. I should be out exploring, not picking berries." Abuela Rosa shook her head softly. "No backtalk, Rico. I'm asking you kindly to help your family." Rico crossed his wings and muttered under his breath. "This isn't fair," he grumbled as he stomped toward the berry bushes. Tia Elena was already there, waiting with a basket. She smiled warmly. "Hola, Rico. I'm glad you came. Ready to pick some berries? Rico shrugged and sighed again. I guess so, he said, his voice still grumbly. Tia Elena chuckled softly. You know, Rico, she said as she gently picked a ripe berry, it's not just about helping, it's also about how we help. When we whine or argue, it makes everything harder, for you and for me. Rico thought about that. He remembered times when he had listened carefully and used kind words. Those days had been easier and more fun. He took a deep breath. I'm sorry, Tia Elena, Rico said, standing a little taller. I shouldn't have whined. How can I help you pick the best berries? Tia Elena smiled even bigger. Thank you, Rico. That was very respectful. Together, they picked bright red berries and filled the basket. Rico found the biggest, juiciest one and saved it just for Abuela Rosa. Later that afternoon, Rico walked back to Abuela Rosa with the special berry in his beak. Here you go, Abuela, he said. Thank you for reminding me to help. Abuela Rosa took the berry and smiled warmly. And thank you for listening and using kind words, Rico. That shows respect, and I am proud of you. As the sun began to set, they all gathered for dinner. Rico sat quietly, listening as Abuela Rosa told stories about when she was young, racing through the grasslands. He asked polite questions and thanked her for sharing her stories. That night, Rico thought about his day. He had made a choice to stop arguing and whining. He had listened carefully and spoken politely. It felt good. From then on, Rico promised himself, no more backtalk, no more arguing, no more whining. He would always show respect and use kind words when speaking to his elders. And as he raced through the grasslands each day, everyone said, there goes Rico, the fastest and the most respectful roadrunner of them all. The end.